Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah. Thank you again, my brothers and sisters, for joining me on today's talk. We will be talking about the Prophet series, and we're still with Ibrahim alayhi salam, as we have been speaking about him for the past few weeks. The trials and tribulations that he has encountered throughout his life, and the tests that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had put him through, and we've learned how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assisted him in passing these tests. Now, we've reached the point where Ibrahim alayhi salam finally he reached an old age now, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had opened the gates of goodness on him, and He has made him a very, very wealthy man. But there was one thing that's missing from Ibrahim alayhi salam's life, and that thing is a child. He reached the age of 85, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him the best of this dunya, and has given him the best of this deen, except the child. Now, his wife Sarah radiallahu anha, she knew that Ibrahim alayhi salam wanted to have a child, and she knew that he had a longing for this child, but the unfortunate circumstance is that she was unable to give him a child. So she decided that it's time for her to give back to him, and she decided to gift him her slave, which is Hajar radiallahu anha. And Sarah told Ibrahim that she's now yours, she's a gift from me to you, that you are to accept her, you are to marry her and have children from her, and this is your opportunity. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed for this to happen, Ibrahim alayhi salam accepted this gift. He married her, and he had his first child, Ismail alayhi salam, at the ripe old age of 86. Now that Ibrahim alayhi salam was satisfied and he was happy, he's gotten the best of his deen, as I mentioned, and now he's gotten the best of this dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to test him, and he was instructed after some time to take his son Ismail and his mother Hajar and to travel across the earth. And he reached a place he reached a barren place, a place with only sand, rubble, and nothing there. And this place was known as the Valley of Mecca. And he was instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to leave Ismail and Hajar there. Now, just think about how difficult this was for Ibrahim alayhi salam. That finally, after 85 years, he had the opportunity to, he had his child, and he had everything that he has ever wanted, and now he is being tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on what he's going to be putting first. Is he going to be putting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first, or is he going to be putting his son first? And put yourself in the situation of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Put yourself in his shoes, and what decisions will you take? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew that Ibrahim alayhi salam will pick him, but he wanted to prove this. So once he reached this valley of Mecca, he instructed Ibrahim alayhi salam to walk away from Ismail and walk away from Hajar. After 86 years, this is what Ibrahim was instructed to do. And how did Ibrahim alayhi salam respond? He said, "Oh Allah, we listen and we obey. We will sacrifice. We will sacrifice for you, Ya Allah." So he reached there, and the unimaginable happened. He began to walk away. You can just imagine the feelings that were channeling through Ibrahim alayhi salam. He had tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then you can start to imagine the feelings of Hajar radiallahu anha as she saw Ibrahim alayhi salam walk away. And she was questioning him, "Ya Ibrahim, are you leaving us here? Are you leaving your son here?" And he continued to walk away with no answer. So she thought to herself that there could only be one thing happening here. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed Ibrahim to take this action, to leave them here. So she asked him, "Ibrahim, did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instruct you to do this?" And Ibrahim said, "Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed me to do this." So she was overcome with this sense of relief and comfort, where she surrendered herself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where she placed her faith, her trust, and her tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not leave her and will not leave her unsustained. They barely had enough food for 2 days, and Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam was only breastfeeding at the time. So food began to run out, and she had her tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that doesn't mean that food's gonna land onto her lap. She needed to work to find the food. So she decided to run up a hill to see if there were people around, to see if there's any form of life around. So she ran up this hill by the name of As-Safa. And then she saw another hill on the other side, and she ran back down this hill. So she didn't want to miss anyone that might have passed on the other side of the hill where she can't see. And she ran across the other hill, which is the hill of Marwa. So the hill of Safa and now the hill of Marwa. And she completed this multiple times, where she was running from one side to the other looking for signs of life. All while Ismail alayhi salam was crying non-stop. And she was getting frustrated. She was becoming worried. And after she ran a few times, she stopped hearing Ismail alayhi salam crying. And she started hearing a different sound. A sound of water gushing. So she ran towards Ismail alayhi salam, and she found him to be just beneath his feet, a pool of water. So she began to collect this water. She made a makeshift basin to collect this water. And while she was doing this, while she was running, she was making dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to sustain her. And while she was doing this, she was saying zam, zam, meaning stop, stop. She's had enough water now to sustain her for a while. And she was making this makeshift basin to collect this water. And this is the well of Zamzam, which is what we know as today, what we've had the opportunity to drink out of today, that has been gushing thousands and thousands of gallons a day for thousands of years now. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Ismail alayhi salam and to Hajar, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them that sustenance for their tawakkul and for Ibrahim alayhi salam passing his test. Now, as we know, when there is water in the middle of nowhere, this is an invitation for civilization. And birds began to come to this water source, and then traders would know that, you know, if they're traveling along the desert, that they would follow the birds, and birds would lead them to the water. So the traders started coming to this water source, and what happens next, inshallah, we will continue next week. Again, my brothers and sisters, thank you for listening to me. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the opportunity to have that tawakkul in Him, and to give us the patience to ease this lockdown on us and to rid us of this virus as soon as possible. Just a reminder that today is the day of Ashura, and that we are all to be fasting for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. And if you've had the opportunity to fast yesterday, then good on you. If you haven't, then there's an opportunity today to fast. And I know it might be too late by the time this is posted, but this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive our sins for the past year. And if you have the opportunity to fast tomorrow, then do so. We also have our virtual iftar night tonight at 5:15. We will want as many of you to join us, where we will catch up, break our fast, and then we will all leave to pray, and then to continue breaking our fast with our families. Again, Jazakumullah khair for listening.